You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show podcast on KPEL965.com.
Get ready for something fresh and exciting with the Josh Guillory Show. Josh Guillory brings a new perspective to the airwaves, analyzing news and issues coming out of Baton Rouge in Washington, D.C., and breaking down how they affect you. Engaging, raw, and informative, Guillory knows how to have fun while delivering the latest in politics and current events. With daily features that entertain and inform, you won't want to miss a single episode. The Josh Guillory Show, 4 p.m., Monday through Friday, only on News Talk 96.5, KPEL.
Have you noticed bad behavior has become normalized at interscholastic athletic events? Some fans seem angry. They lack civility toward one another. Some even get aggressive and unruly. Time out! What is going on? This has to stop. Let's not forget, school sports aren't just about winning. And they're definitely not an excuse to take your frustrations out on the official or the opponent. They're about teaching lessons like perseverance, respect, and empathy, so students can learn and grow as people, not just as players. We all have a role to play in setting a good example for our students and teaching them these important values. So fans, it's time to step up your game and behave positively at interscholastic athletic events in Louisiana.
This message presented by the LHSAA and the Louisiana High School Athletic Directors Association.
The entire world watched.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
And humanity saw that the sky was not the limit. Achievement. Pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
Bikers Against Child Abuse empowers children to not feel afraid of the world in which they live. For more information, visit BACAworld.org. Our helpline is 866-885-9474. BACA, breaking the chains of abuse.
This hour of the Moon Griffon Show is brought to you by Champines, located in the Oil Center. Champines, going the extra mile.
The views expressed in the following show are those of the hosts or hosts only. They do not represent News Talk 96.5 KPEL or Town Square Media.
Hi, hello. Welcome, Moon Griffon Show. What a great day. What a great weekend. Election time, especially if you're in Baton Rouge. Another one bites the dust. Wow. How'd you like to be Paula Pelosi David and McKnight today? Anyway, that's another whole story. Anyway, great to have you with us. Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline is always open for you. You can email me, moon@moongriffon.com. We also giving away Cane River pecans again last week. So if you want to be part of it, email me, moon@moongriffon.com, and say you want to win. And make sure you leave a physical address. If you win, they'll ship it out probably as early as today. So Cane River pecan giveaway all this week, and then that's going to be it on that. All righty. I got in touch with a friend of mine who was watching and seeing behind the scenes all the stuff going on. Said that it was a gigantic win for Baton Rouge in the East Baton Rouge, bringing in a guy who is a born leader. That's all he's been doing is leading young men. And this is exciting times for the people in East Baton Rouge. People have had enough. They've had enough of the same old woke stuff, and they decided, you know what, we're willing to try somebody and give somebody an opportunity to come in here and change what's going on over here. Not that everything is bad, but there's been a lot of things that needed to be changed. Woody Jenkins joins me, former state rep, I think, for 32 years, if I'm saying that right. Also with the Woody, what's the name of the newspaper? Because I want to make sure we get it right.
Moon, we publish the Central City News in the city of Central and the St. George Leader in the city of St. George.
Okay, well, that's it. And I knew
28 years in the State House as well.
Okay, well, I thought it was 32. I don't know where I got the number from. But anyway, close enough. I was within a term, which is pretty good. What it got to be, yeah. I know you know a lot what was going on, but it got to be exciting times for East Baton Rouge because people said, you know what, enough's enough. We just You got people in these cities, Shreveport, Monroe, and now in Baton Rouge. I wish it could ease over to New Orleans where people said enough's enough. Enough's enough. I'm tired of hearing the same old rhetoric, and we need to change what's going on.
Well, Moon, I'm a lifelong resident of Baton Rouge. I love this city. It has been a wonderful place to live for most of that time, but we have begun to suffer in the last decade or so more and more of the same kind of issues that plague so many around the country, and it's gotten out of control. I mean, we're at one point murder capital of the nation, highest murder rate, ranked 182 out of 182 out of 182 cities, and being least safe. We've got blight, 5,000 to 7,000 blighted homes, abandoned homes, traffic gridlock, homelessness, all of these things. And to some, it has seemed almost impossible, but there have been a few of us who have just continued to have hope and try to work. And they said we could not elect a Republican mayor president. And I don't want to say this was a partisan election particularly, because I don't really put it in Republican Democratic terms, but we do have, Republican sheriff, assessor, clerk of court, coroner, Republican council, and school board. So we can elect Republicans, but we haven't been electing a Republican mayor president. But now we have a real chance. I think there are two big things that have happened. First, the incorporation of St. George, which is now the fifth largest city and the wealthiest city in the state, and it's setting a high standard. And then we have now the election of Sid Edwards, who his issues and the way he brought people together was to fight the crime, the blight, the homelessness, the traffic gridlock, which is a big problem, and to try to bring us economic development. And, of course, people say start with economic development. Actually, you have to stop the crime and the blight and the traffic situation, and then economic development comes automatically, really. But who's going to come here if you're murder capital? So Coach Sid, people have given him a chance. It's cut across all racial boundaries and party boundaries, and I think he's just an incredible man. I was so happy because I've known Sid for almost 25 years, and I just knew that he's such a wonderful, inspirational figure with great values, and that if people got to know him, they would latch on. And I really think this is a God thing. From the moment he qualified, it's like everything broke his way. Mm-hmm. Everything broke against Sharon Weston Broome, our incumbent mayor. And it was everything from the presidential election to the weather to ball games and holidays. I mean, they all broke our way. And so we have a chance, I think, to make a real difference. He has a very short time before swearing in, only a 3-week transition, so swearing in January 2nd, so there's a lot of work to be done to get things in place.
Well, it's amazing, Woody, and I got to tell you, because I do get in Baton Rouge a lot, and I do listen to some of the local politics. I don't stick my head too much in them. I didn't say at all, but too much. And it was always the take, well, Sid can get to the runoff, but he can't win. And Sid can get to the runoff. And then you had Republicans who were for Ted James, who got egg on their face, and I'll take care of that later. But they, all this stuff, Sid, I've had people say, oh, Woody and them think, but it's no way. That's all I heard. And I thought, there was so many dynamics, and you just mentioned some of them, from the weather to the football games to whatever, that came into play in this, a December election. I don't know maybe you can let me know what the percentage of turnout. I think Brian told me, Haldane told me over 100,000 votes, but I don't really know what percentage that was. And so there was so many dynamics that worked out, but this is a blessing to that area. I mean, this is a guy that he'll work with you whether you're black or white, green or yellow. He doesn't care, and he wants to move forward. He has no political agenda, and when I say that, he has no political agenda, I mean that. He really wants the city to do well. So you got an opportunity here.
That's right. And, it's really interesting because early on we were told, that it's all about money. Sid's not going to have any money. Ted James will have millions. Sharon will have millions. And Sid did not have money, as a matter of fact. And we started with the idea that we were going to be an all-volunteer campaign, which is what it was. There was not a single paid consultant or anybody like that on the payroll, just 100% volunteers. and people who cared about changing our city. And because there was no money, we started with the basics, and that was if we could get a few dollars, we put it in signs, in 3x6 signs. And we had volunteers. We covered the parish with those beautifully, probably the best sign campaign ever, which raised his name recognition. And because they weren't in vacant lots or illegal servitudes and all, but right in people's yards who wanted them, or businesses that showed their support, you could see support growing, and people said, well, maybe he has a chance. Maybe he has a chance to get in the runoff, and still no money, but we didn't need money because we had our ladies out sign waving on the street corners, and then we had our newspapers, telling the facts about the candidates and what they stood for. And I would say that the first $80,000 or so was all it took to really ensure being in the runoff. And then, of course, the whole thing, I think Sharon Weston Broome spent $1.4 million, and Ted James $1.1 million. But Baton Rouge is the parish is 450,000 people, but it's basically a small town. It's where people know each other. Mm-hmm. They weren't going to allow the city to be bought. And let me say about donors, there's some donors that are just wanting to change our city for the better. Their interests are purely selfless, but there's a lot of them that they're looking for government contracts. They're looking to kind of be in with whoever's getting elected. And I don't think Sid Edwards is going to be that way. I think he's going to try to cut government and cut cost, and sometimes that means that everybody's not going to be at the gravy train like maybe they have been before.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question.
If we're going to emphasize police and all like that, which, we need police raises, we need 100 extra officers. We can't just have all these crazy contracts that are given out to political organizations and consultants millions of dollars,
And this may be a tough question for you to answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Doesn't this help East Baton Rouge Parish and St. George? Doesn't it help that you'll have a relationship there, that you can work together? I mean, City of St. George is there, but East Baton Rouge, East Baton Rouge is there. And the parish president, this is important that you do have working relationship. Don't you think that helps everybody in that area with this win?
Well, no, absolutely. The history of this thing is that there was a provision in our state constitution. It was unique to East Baton Rouge Parish. It said that in East Baton Rouge Parish, you could only have 3 municipalities, Baker, Zachary, and Baton Rouge. Mm-hmm. Everywhere else in the state, any unincorporated area could form a city. Well, up in Scotlandville, predominantly black area of our parish, when we had the Constitutional Convention back in 1973, A.C. Belton, who was the premier black leader there, approached me and said, look, we in Scotlandville want the opportunity to incorporate, but the Constitution prohibits us. So we amended the Constitution to allow East Baton Rouge people to incorporate. It was for Scotlandville. Later, people in Central wanted to incorporate, and then more recently, St. George. And it was just the right that people have all over the state. This was not St. George withdrawing from Baton Rouge. In the media, you think St. George is pulled away from Baton Rouge. That's not true. It's an unincorporated area that's never had a city where they wanted their city services. But it is, predominantly white, and it is higher income, and so there are people that's racist, and that's what Mayor Broome said. It's racist. And she not only opposed the incorporation movement, which she had a right to do, she did that. But then when the people voted, she continued. She filed suit, back in 2019 to try to stop it. And then when the Supreme Court upheld it, even around May 1st of this year, she continued to fight it. And she, to this moment, she was running campaign ads. And as I told her, if you would just respect the democratic process expressed by the people and the legal process expressed by the Supreme Court, you'd be doing the right thing. But ironically, her opposition is what led to her defeat, because what happened was St. George, as it turned out, had a vote to transfer the parish tax to the city of St. George on, of all times, December 7th. Yep. So that stimulated a tremendous turnout in St. George, where she had completely alienated the public. So
it's not. I think you touched on it. It's not two different communities. It's not. It's all still East Baton Rouge Parish. Everybody that you just named. Hey, Woody, let me take a break. Come back. Do about 5 or 6 more minutes with you. I got a couple other questions.
Yes,
Woody
sir.
Jenkins.
Thank you.
Big victory. Sid Edwards in East Baton Rouge Parish, another change candidate. People say we've had enough. Everybody, black, white, we had enough. Happened in Monroe, and twice, and it happened in Shreveport as well. Boy, if New Orleans could be watching. We'll take a break. Be right back. When you think about how you'll spend your money in retirement, what comes to mind? Probably travel, sunny beaches, and spoiling your grandchildren. But a recent survey found that over 30% of every dollar a retiree spends goes to taxes. Baby boomers were told for years to save money in their IRAs and 401ks and pay taxes later. Well, now that day has arrived, and boomers are shocked to see a third of their money going back to Uncle Sam. John Blanchard and the Matthew James Financial Group can help. What if you could? Protect all or most of your retirement wealth from future tax rate increases. Achieve a zero or near zero effective tax rate for most of your retirement years. Find out more. 337-366-8366. Isn't it time you got a second opinion on your wealth and retirement outlook? Learn how you could potentially kick the IRS out of your IRA. 337-366-8366 and online at MatthewJames.com. Folks, I've turned to Cane River Pecan Company for my personal holiday gifts for so long, I can't even remember when we started. The ordering is so easy, and the compliments I receive last all year long. They featured an outstanding selection of flavored pecans, pralines, and their famous boudin pie. And I love working with another family-owned Louisiana-based company. Trust me, folks, you got to give some pecans from Cane River Pecan Company. Look them up online at caneriverpecan.com. Now open our new pie bar, a 55-seat cafe on Main Street in New Iberia's historic district. Line One is a business telecom provider. Line One specializes in cloud-based communication with superior customer service. If you're frustrated with phone bills you can't understand, endless hold time to customer support, and phone system that is not meeting your needs, then you need to go to Line.1 and schedule a free consultation to advance your business phone system. Line One, technology with a human touch. Go to Line.1 and tell them Moon sent you. Again, that is Line.1.
Hey folks, it's Joe, and you have heard me talk several times about my time in the classroom here in Lafayette Parish being a teacher, and throughout those years had come across students who had been experiencing or had experienced homelessness. And I'm here with David Owens of Gifting Grace Project to talk a little bit about the work they do assisting kids in Lafayette who are experiencing the same thing.
That's right, Joe. The Gifting Grace Project is Acadiana's homeless children's outreach, and we are proud to be the outreach for these children in Acadiana, providing them with backpacks with school supplies, hygiene products, meal vouchers, and more. Go to giftinggraceproject.com to help us out and make a difference today. Or you can text GGP to 53555 and get more information that way and make your donation as well.
Folks, there's nothing more important than helping our most vulnerable, our kids. They are the future, and we need to do everything we can for them. And that's why David and I are here today asking you to support Gifting Grace Project.
Get involved today. Thank you.
Hello, welcome back. Moon Griffon. What a beautiful day. It was beautiful Saturday. It rained and was cold and drizzly, and it was beautiful in East Baton Rouge and the rest of the state. Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline, 844-766-6607. Don't forget, giving away Cane River Pecans. Just got to email me, moon@moongriffon.com. Say you want to win. Make sure you leave a physical address. It ends this Friday. Woody Jenkins, my special guest. Big victory. You know, Woody, I was all the stuff that fell into place is just the way it is. But I do think on the other side of the aisle that's been voting for people like Broome, you had a bunch of people that are sick of not seeing results. And I think we're seeing that all over the country, all over this nation, and we're seeing it all over our state now, maybe not in New Orleans yet. You got people going, you know, what am I voting for? And a guy like Sid comes along and says, look, this guy's not Republican or Democrat, and the fact that he's not he's a new guy on the shit. And he's trying to get votes from blacks and whites and male and female. And I thought that was unique. But you got people on the other side starting to go, you know what, this wokeism and stuff that's going on, enough's enough. And I really believe that's happening too. Am I wrong by saying that?
No, I think you're right. I mean, I live in North Baton Rouge, which is a heavily minority area. Coach Sid coaches at Estrella High School, my alma mater, but which is an all-black school. Mm-hmm. He's the head coach there. He just has a heart for the people here, and he sees every day how the government is working against them. And even though we've had Democratic mayors for 20 years, the services are not being provided in North Baton Rouge. Trash is not picked up. The streets are not maintained. The crime is rampant, and there's no jobs. So he's going to focus on that because he believes that we're only as strong as our weakest link, and we've got to fix this. But let me just tell you a little bit more about him. I mean, he's a really wonderful person. In covering him for the Central City News when he was coaching at Central, I probably heard him speak at least, I'd say, 200 times to his team, to the student body. And I have almost never heard him talk about football. What he talks about is he talks about the importance of being a good son, a good husband, a good father, a good member of the community. At every school he's been at, he starts something called Men for Others, and it's mandatory. And every member of the team has to be involved in group service activities where they go out. If an elderly person needs their house painted, they paint it. If somebody needs their yard cleaned up, they clean it up. Mm-hmm. Whatever it might be in the community, they do, because he teaches just because you might be the football star, that's not a big deal. Being an important a leader in the community to make your community right and being a good dad for your children, that's what's really important. And so he keeps kids grounded. And so that's what the approach. It's a very traditional, family-oriented, conservative approach. He is a Republican, but he's not partisan. He doesn't really care about what party people are. And the people here, they saw him that way. I mean, basically the choice was between the failed administration and the beloved coach. And that was a good choice. That we don't have that. He's like a Reagan in the sense that he's one of the few people who's ever run for public office here that people actually love, which is why he, I think, had such an incredible victory.
Yeah, it was just.
So I think you're going to see when he's sworn in, you're going to see some things like, we have thousands, maybe tens of thousands of street lights out here. Right in front of my house are 4 street lights. They've been out for years. He's going to turn on the lights. He's going to start picking up the trash. We're going to have a parish-wide cleanup campaign to change the physical appearance. He's going to start bulldozing these blighted buildings, which they're used as trap houses. He's talked a lot about the trap houses.
Yeah. Well, Woody, it's not just a victory for him. All you guys and ladies that work behind the scenes, I know everybody's smiling, and you should be, because I was told every time I went to Baton Rouge, they can't win, they're going to get in a wrong, get beat again, and y'all never let that deter y'all at all. And that's what you got. You got to be able to work through the negatives to get something positive. And I tell you, everybody that was involved in this campaign should be so happy and humbled the good Lord opened the door for him, and he was able to win.
Absolutely. Great victory. And Lord was in it. He opened every door. And you could see his hand at every step. So East Baton Rouge Parish has another chance to try to solve our problems and move forward.
Yeah, I'm just tickled to death, and that's why I wanted to get you on. And anyway, look, I'll let you go. Woody, thank you so much. I just know y'all are excited. I tried to get in touch with several of y'all on election night. I finally got somebody to email me back, and then people were watching TV, so I went to the Secretary of State's website, and it was a good day. But anyway, God bless East Baton Rouge Parish.
Thank you for all your help, man.
Yeah, it's time for New Orleans to catch a ride to something different. All right, we'll be right back. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. With 5 Louisiana locations, I always make it a point to visit Superior Grill when I'm traveling in the great state of Louisiana. I love the food there. It's authentic Mexican food with a Louisiana twist. Their menu has all your favorites: nachos, quesadillas, enchiladas, tacos, fajitas, hand-cut steaks, and the best margaritas in the state. You can go to Superior for lunch or dinner, and folks, you're going to thank me for it. My lovely bride and I eat at Superior Grill every chance we get. They're on Line Avenue in Shreveport. Government Street, and Highland Road in Baton Rouge, St. Charles Avenue in New Orleans, and on College Saloon in Lafayette. I'm talking great food, great service, and great margaritas. The best Mexican food with the Louisiana twist is found at Superior Grill, Shreveport on Line Avenue, Baton Rouge on Government Street, and Highland Road, New Orleans on St. Charles Avenue, and College Saloon in Lafayette. This is Moon Griffon. I'll see you at Superior Grill. This is Moon Griffon. My good buddy Jeff and the folks at Hudco Roofing and Exteriors is Louisiana's premier professional roofing contractor, specializing in residential roofing services. Remember, your roof protects everything, you and your family, and most of your possessions. And that's where Hudco Roofing comes in. These folks aren't just your average roofers. They're the #1 roofing company in the state. Whether you need a repair or brand new roof, Hudco Roofing has you covered. Hudco is a CertainTeed Select Shingle Master and takes every roof all the way down to the decking to make sure there are no hidden damages. Hudco Roofing is also a state-certified installer of the Fortified Roofing System, and that's a big deal. Anywhere in Louisiana, you can get a free roof inspection and quote from Hudco Roofing. Go to HudcoRoofing.com for quality workmanship, premium products, and unparalleled customer service. This is Moon Griffon. I trust Hudco Roofing of Louisiana, and so should you. HudcoRoofing.com. That's HudcoRoofing.com.
When you say...
This hour of the Moon Griffon Show is brought to you by Champagnes, located in the Oil Center. Champagnes, going the extra mile.
Good God. This thing on. This thing on. Look at here. I got something I want to say. Ow!
Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show on a beautiful Monday. It is great to be back in-house with you. 844-766-6607. Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. You can always call us, be part of the program. You can email us, moon@moongriffon.com. You can check out the Facebook, all that stuff for you. Don't forget Cane Real Pecan giveaway. We'll do that at the end of the second hour. Oh, just one more thing on this. I want to move on. I am going to talk about college football playoff just for one segment. I wish they'd go back to 2 teams. Oh, my God. I cannot believe he's saying that. Yeah, they'll go back to 2 teams. It's the same arguments we're having. We had when it was 2 teams, when they were picking winners, 4 teams, 12, they're going to go to 16. I got a take on it that nobody has thought about. I've heard nobody talk about this, and it's kind of a foolish thing to even watch anymore. But anyway, there's only about 2 or 3 teams can win it anyway. But we got to make sure we get them, and we made the playoffs. Anyway, it's just money and a lot of BS. Anyway, all that coming up later. And if you don't care about football, don't go nowhere. It's not really about football. It's about politics. And it's about not thinking through process, because there is no process. Anyway, last thing up. So congratulations to Sid Edwards. Got rid of some bad elected officials and McBroom and Ted James. And I want to go back to that real quick, because I think everybody ought to find out who people were. When this thing all started over there, Paula Pelosi Davis. I've been telling y'all about Paula Pelosi, a knife-stabbing woman who was a fraud squad member. Don't mind stabbing it back. For some reason, she could get away with running as a conservative Republican. She's not even close. She sent out a deal for Ted James, served in the legislature since 2015, brags about lobby. I don't brag about lobby. Lobby don't even put anything in the report. I'm a Republican and supporting my friend Ted James. Don't want anybody to forget that. Always willing to listen and differing viewpoints. Now, she had a chance to support Sid Edwards. She supported Ted James, who didn't even make the runoff, Paula Pelosi Davis. Okay? That was Paula. Okay? If Broom were to face the top Republican, she wins 50-38. This is Paula Pelosi Davis. I don't want y'all to forget what Paula Pelosi. I got the email. I got the text message from Paula Pelosi Davis. I'm not even in the area. Paula Pelosi Davis told people that if Broom were to face the Republican, Sid Edwards, she would win 50-38. Hey, Paula, how did that work out? This is what Paula Pelosi Davis wrote back when she's supporting Ted James. And I'm taking it Paula went with Broom because that's who Ted endorsed. This is your Republican Paula Pelosi Davis. I've been telling y'all to watch her. Y'all go and like it and keep electing it. You watch. So Paula Pelosi Davis says, I know I'm asking you to do something different. The job is about competence and honesty, and Ted James will restore both to our city parish. Remember, signed Paula Davis, I call her Pelosi because that's who she is, Republican of Baton Rouge. Paula said Sid couldn't win. Sid was going to get beat 50-38. By the way, that only adds up to 88%. I don't know if Paula Pelosi Davis, she must not be a math person. Paula, that's in a runoff, you got two people, that's only 88%. What's the other 12% doing? I'm telling you, man. If Broome would have faced the top Republican, he wins 40, 50, 38. I mean, that's 88. You got 12 more points. What happened to them, Paula? See, that's what I'm telling you about these people. Basically said Sid couldn't win. Who won? Oh, that's right. Sid Edwards won. about 10 points. But according to, let's see, Paula was off. She said Sid would get 38. He got 55. Paula was off on 17%. This is what the woman does. Then there was Scott McKnight. Friends of you, if you want a new mayor president after this election cycle, you'll vote for Ted James. A vote for any other candidate is a vote to reelect our current mayor president. In other words, McKnight said, any other candidate, if you vote for Sid, you're going to reelect the president. Attaboy, Scotty boy. Attaboy, Scotty boy. Scott McKnight, big Republican, wanted to be the treasurer. This is what these people do. Ted is the only candidate that can win the runoff. Is that so, Mr. McKnight? Ted's the only one can win. He didn't even make the runoff. Somebody, when you run to Scott McKnight, say, Scott, he didn't make the runoff. How can he be the only candidate to win? If you don't make the runoff, you can't win. He didn't make the runoff. And by the way, you lied too, just like Paula Pelosi Davis, when you said he's the only candidate that can win. I think there was one named Sid Edwards, and he won. Attaboy, Scott. Show him who you are, baby. And then he tells the people, if anyone tells you differently, ask for proof. I have the history and data to back up my statement. Attaboy, Scott. I mean, McKnight and Pelosi Davis went all out for Ted, who's a liberal woke Looney Tune. And look at this. This is what they tell you. He can't win. Sid can't win. That's what Paula said. McKnight went even deeper. If anybody tells you that Sid Edwards can win the runoff, if anyone tells you differently, ask for the proof. I have a history and data to back up my statement. Well, I'll tell you what, I would not put a lot of money on McKnight and Paula Pelosi Davis, would you? They told y'all, they knew. They're smarter than everybody else. How in the hell they got beat so bad? I mean, how did they get beat so bad? If Paula Pelosi Davis and McKnight do all this, how did they get beat? And by the way, folks, there was another one. Okay? There was another one sent out, Ted James for parish president. Cocktail Couson was on that ballot. Oh, yeah. Oh, I don't want to forget old Cocktail. They had him on the ballot as well. Now Scott McKnight today. I've never been happier to be proven wrong. Scott's getting out in front about it. Where's Paula Pelosi Davis's? When is she going to send out that she was wrong too? They wanted to go with a horrible candidate in James, and I guess they voted for Broome because if McKnight's admitting he was wrong, did he vote for Broome? He says, I'm so happy East Baton Rouge showed up and didn't let history repeat itself. Well, hold up, Scott. I'm going to back up. Let me back up a second. Now, you said history repeat itself. You said Ted's the only candidate that can win in a runoff. If anyone tells you differently, ask me proof. I have history and data to back up my statement. Now you're saying that history didn't repeat itself. No, it didn't. Why do you... Paula Pelosi, Davis, and McKnight made total rear ends out of themselves. Okay? You know? What are they going to do? Crawl Now look, Sid Edwards is a newcomer. Sid's going to say, hey, no problem. And that's what Sid ought to do. But I don't want y'all to forget McKnight, Paula Pelosi Davis, and there was a host of other ones. Said they could not win. They could not win. It could not happen. It couldn't. According to McKnight, I got the proof to back it up. Where's that proof now? Paula Pelosi Davis and Scott McKnight. Where's it at? They rode the wrong horse because they're not conservative and all they want to be is a Republican so they can say, look at us. And they rode the wrong horse. Of course they're going to come along now. Oh, yes. They're all in. They're excited about it. They embarrassed themselves. They embarrassed the area. They really ought to not even run for office ever again. Don't get behind a guy. He can't win. I got the history. And Paula Pelosi Davis saying the same thing, basically saying that if Broome would have faced the top Republican, that was Sid, Broome was to face Edwards, she wins 50-38. Paula came and counted 100. God bless her. 50-38 is, well, folks, that's 88%. You look at 100% of the turnout, they only got 2 candidates. 50-38 is absolutely 100% no way to come up with that. But old Paula said it was. That's Paula Pelosi Davis and Scott McKnight. I just think we ought to remember, this is something to remember as we go on. Remember the people that stood by you, and remember the people that didn't want to stand by you, that listened to the money and the big government talkers. Get up. But, folks, when you run into a middle of the road or leftist Republicans like these people, run. Get the hell away from them. I don't care what their lobby voting record is. And, by the way, I don't care what their right to life voting record is because everybody's right to life in this state. Bill Edwards was right to life if he was trying to get 10-year-olds to get their private parts cut off. Everybody's right to life. So don't brag about your right. And don't brag about lobby because lobby, no cut on lobby, but lobby only judges certain criteria. They never did judge knifing people in the back and putting Shake Snyder in. And that was Paula Pelosi Davis. By the way, she's the one who came up with the 0.45 bragging about the sales tax. Just saying. Let's take a break. We'll be back. Telling you about Schumacher Homes for a long time. Now, for a limited time, you can choose from 5 different financing offers and pick one that works best for you. Whether you're an active duty, military, or veteran, you can take advantage of the exclusive VA construction loan offer. You can lock in 30-year fixed financing for as low as 3.875. How about that? Looking to stay in your home and start construction right away? A stay-in-your-home loan might be right for you. With this option, you can stay in your home during construction and not worry about moving twice. And for you first-time home buyers, we're not going to forget you. For a limited time, they're offering 30-year fixed financing as low as 3.875. Other financing offers include no-cost refinancing, conventional loans, and FHA construction loans. If you're thinking of building your dream custom home, there's no time like the present to start building. SchumacherHomes.com. SchumacherHomes.com. Let them build your dream home. They're building dream homes one at a time. Hey, folks, if you worry about your smile and your teeth and you need some cosmetic work, I got the guy for you. His name is Dr. Bruni with over 20 years of experience.
Hey, Dr. Bruni here with Pearl Dental Group. Are you struggling with missing teeth, failing teeth, or uncomfortable dentures? Our same-day full-mouth implants can transform your life in just one visit. Using 4 to 6 implants, our patients leave with a permanent new smile in just a few hours. Our world-class facility and experienced team utilize the latest technology, including 3D imaging and digital smile design to deliver stunning results that look and feel natural. With our in-house lab, we can complete your entire implant process from start to finish in one location, saving you time and money. If you're ready to rediscover the joy of smiling and chewing with confidence, contact us today.
Pearl Dental Group is the one you need to know. PearlDentalGroup.com. Trust me, you want to smile again and you want to see them beautiful teeth? Pearl Dental Group is the one you need to know. Go to PearlDentalGroup.com, PearlDentalGroup.com.
Bikers Against Child Abuse, BACA, exists with the intent to create a safer environment for abused children. We exist as a body of bikers to empower children to not feel afraid of the world in which they live. We stand ready to lend support to our wounded friends by involving them with an established, united organization. We work in conjunction with local and state officials who are already in place to protect children. We desire to send a clear message to all involved with the abused child that this child is part of our organization and that we are prepared to lend our physical and emotional support to them by affiliation and our physical presence. We stand at the ready to shield these children from further abuse. We do not condone the use of violence or physical force in any manner. However, if circumstances arise such that we are the only obstacle preventing a child from further abuse, we stand ready to be that obstacle. If you'd like to know more about BACA, please visit our website at bacaworld.org or call 1-866-71-ABUSE.
All right, folks, let's get started. Parents, thanks for coming. As many of you know, I'm Coach Mather. Tonight I want to talk about the season, of which I only have one expectation, that everybody gets stronger. When I say get stronger, I'm not referring solely to physical strength. Sure, we'll be in the weight room, we'll be running stairs, but we're also going to focus on developing mental toughness and grit, because those are the characteristics that allow us to achieve greatness both on and off the court. So, how do we develop those things? By getting comfortable with a challenge, by cultivating the confidence necessary to overcome adversity in all forms. That's why I coach. That's my purpose. Every member of this team can lean on me, and I'll teach them how they can lean on themselves and each other.
This message presented by the LHSAA and the Louisiana High School Athletic Directors Association.
Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. What a day. Great to be with you. 844-766-6607 is the number. It's a Matthew James Business and Tax Reduction Hotline. Your opportunity to be a voice. I jump gears just for a few minutes because I didn't want to get in all this college football stuff. I just wish they'd go back and pick two teams. Right now you pick Oregon and Georgia, let them play for the national championship. After you get past Georgia and Texas, maybe there's another team that can win it. Maybe Ohio State. Maybe. After that, none of them other teams got a chance. And before you jump up and go, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I do. All them teams that are not getting a bye got to win 4 games. You got to win 3 or 4 games now. It's not 1 or 2. And all them teams with upset minded ain't upsetting 3 or 4 teams. You can forget about it. I'm Oregon, Georgia, maybe Texas, maybe a Texas team. I'll go Ohio State because I know they got talent, got a lot of players on their roster. But that's it. I just wish they'd go back to 2 teams. But I know it's money and playoff and schools get excited. We got Boise State and Indiana and SMU and a 9-3 Clemson team. And the SMU and Clemson, woo, it's just not great football teams. But anyway, I didn't want to. That one thing left out of the playoff pick. They got this playoffs. And I heard Nick Saban say this. If you don't like Saban, that's tough. I'm just telling you, he said he was right. When we used to do it, the AP poll and the coaches poll picked the national champions. And let's get the BCS together. Let's pick 2 teams, the 2 most deserving teams to get in there. And then we had that system. And there was always 1 or 2 teams that got mad because they felt like they should have been. And I remember LSU won a national championship going in that thing with 2 losses. Everything just fell that year, and LSU would have gotten it. They never won it. They won it with 2 losses. And they should have been in it because, if you looked at the best 2 teams, they were the best 2 teams. But it was Oregon and Bickering from the first one to the second one. So then we went to the 4-team playoff. Saban said it then. It's going to be the same Bickering. It's going to be teams that didn't make it. Last year, Florida State didn't make it. Florida State would have been in over Alabama had the quarterback played. No doubt about it. But Alabama was next up. So I'm not defending, forget Alabama. I'm just talking about in general. So you had controversy every single year since we had that. So now let's go to 12. Oh, we're going to include everybody. So we got 12. Alabama didn't make it. Miami didn't make it. South Carolina didn't make it. Ole Miss didn't make it. All them teams felt like they should have been in there. So then we're going to go 16, by the way. It's just a matter of time. But that's not the point. Let me get the point. For a week leading up to Saturday's ball games, all I heard when I watched or listened to any sports program is SMU should not be penalized if they lose the 13th game. SMU should not even have to play. If they're going to get kicked out for losing that game, they'd have been better off for them not to go. That's all I heard. And, of course, they put so much pressure on the committee, they put SMU in there, which is fine. I don't really give a rat's rear end, but it's fine. So I laughed because that's all I heard. You can't let SMU. They play. It's not fair for them to lose their spot in the playoffs if they lose. It's not fair. They had to play an extra game. It's not fair. And then the people going crazy on TV. And all week, 24/7, that's all everybody argued. They should not be able to fall out. Alabama should not, Miami, whoever, should not be able to get in. That's all I heard. Over again. I'm thinking, something weird about this. So SMU plays and gets beat. The scenario that they didn't want happened. SMU got beat, and then it cranked up again. They shouldn't be penalized for playing a 13th game. So let's take the narrative of the experts. As you know, I'm not an expert in anything, not in politics, not in sports. But let's take the narrative. They shouldn't fall out. That's not fair because the 13th game is not fair. I'm taking their narrative. If that's the case, that you can't fall out of the playoffs if you play a 13th game, why in the hell do we let people move into playoffs for playing the 13th game? Nobody's talked about it. Somebody knows Matt Moscona. Please get him to address this. Because I'm telling you, why should Clemson was 9-3, 17th. Arizona State was 16th at 10-2. And they played the 13th game, and because they won, they jumped over Alabama, Miami, whoever else. Okay? Why should you move up if you win and it counts, but if you lose, it shouldn't count? Somebody explain that to me. Explain how you can have it both ways. You can't. That's what makes the playoff a joke, an absolute joke. You can move up if you win, but you can't move back if you lose. Well, if you lose, you shouldn't have played the 13th game. But out of the 13th game, Clemson's at home and Arizona State's at home. Because they played in the 13th game and won, they were able to move on. And yet SMU can't drop back. They can't drop back out of the playoffs with the loss because it's not fair they played. Clemson and Arizona State got another chance, and they took advantage of it. I'm trying to figure this out. You know what? Using that scenario of SMU should not be able to go back out the playoffs, Texas was sitting second. Texas was sitting in a bye position because they played the 13th game. They now don't have a bye. Georgia gets the bye because Georgia beat them. Folks, this whole thing is a joke. It's almost laughable. SMU shouldn't, but that was the scenario. From Paul Feinbaum to you can name them. I don't know about Moscona. I listen to Matt when I can. I don't know if what Matt said, but the bottom line is if you can't move out the playoffs if you lose, but you can move in the playoffs if you win, what's the difference? It's a 13th game that got you out or in. I thought that's what you played for. Nobody, folks, okay, is going to play to lose. So what they're going to end up doing is they're going to do it to 16 games to get rid of the conference titles. That way, when they go to 16 games, we won't have any arguments. More arguments. More teams, more arguments. We go to 12-game playoff, more arguments. When we had 4, we had a few arguments. When we had 2, we had very few arguments. But now, with 12 teams and a process that nobody knows how we come up with, it's almost hilarious to watch it. That's why I had somebody tell me, well, it's about money. It's exciting. For who? Oh, we're going to get to play more games. And they're going to be blowouts. They've been blowouts. When we got 4 teams every year. Walker, last year, Michigan played Alabama, beat them in overtime. And who was the other side of the bracket, you remember? Washington and Tech. Those were 2 good games. But if you go before that, there's a lot of blowouts. Almost every year there's blowouts. Almost every year there's a blowout. In 3 games, there's always 1, maybe 2 blowouts. It's just hilarious. But anyway, I just, you cannot move out of the play. They didn't want Alabama in there. Nobody wants Alabama in there. Alabama's a flawed team. We don't want Bama. If it wouldn't have been Bama, they wouldn't even made the case. But it was Alabama. But the fact that you can't go out to playoffs if you lose a 13th game, I heard Boogum or Fall. Some of these people they ought to put me on ESPN. The stupidity that I heard and the arguments that I heard for a team who hadn't even played anybody. Clemson's best win before SMU was 7-5 Pittsburgh. The whole thing is flawed. And that's how some people like it. If you can't move out the playoffs with a 13th game, you sure the hell ought to not be able to move in. It's just nobody talked about that. All they did was hammer. They put so much pressure on the committee gave in. They didn't do what was best. They gave in. Because you can't have a team, of course, drop out the playoffs for losing the 13th game. But, boy, they can move in. Why is that a good game, but this ain't? Unbelievable. Anyway, my beef of the day. Your comments, moon@moongraphon.com. Oh, more than welcome. Take a break. Be right back.
Want to save hundreds?
Just talk. 96.5 KPEL, Brobridge, Lafayette, a Town Square media station, broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax Pro Studio.
Syria is a mess and not our friend. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what President-elect Trump posted on Truth Social, saying the U.S. should not get involved after a rebel insurgency ousted the regime as leader Bashar Assad fled to Russia.
The White House says it's trying to prevent ISIS from taking advantage of the power vacuum currently in Syria and prevent any weapons left behind by the Assad regime from falling into the wrong hands. So U.S. CENTCOM says that it carried out 75 strikes on targets in Syria. This included strikes on ISIS leaders as well as bases. Israel today says that it struck suspected chemical weapon sites and destroyed long-range rockets and missiles in Syria.
That's Fox's Alex Hogan. Now, Reuters reports 3 Israeli soldiers have been killed battling Hamas militants in Gaza the day after 4 soldiers were killed in fighting in Lebanon, where there's supposed to be a ceasefire with Hezbollah. It's back to Capitol Hill today for Pete Hegseth, the Trump defense secretary nominee, in meetings with more Republican senators ahead of what could be a contentious confirmation hearing next year.
One senator to watch will be Iowa Republican Joni Ernst, who's already met with Hegseth and plans to continue those meetings, as she hasn't committed to supporting him. Hegseth faces misconduct allegations, including sexual assault and excessive drinking, that he denies.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz. TikTok is not giving up, trying to block a law that could ban the social media app in the U.S. Its Chinese parent company, ByteDance, has filed another appeal this morning at the same federal appeals court that Friday upheld that law, which would ban TikTok if it does not cut ties with ByteDance amid concern about Chinese surveillance of users and manipulation of content. The Golden Globe nominations are out. Emilia Perez leads the way with 10 nominations. It's up for Best Musical or Comedy, along with
Anora, Neon, Challengers, Amazon MGM Studios, A Real Pain, Searchlight Pictures, The Substance movie, and Wicked, Universal Pictures.
Well, we'll find out all the winners on the Golden Globes January 5th. America's listening to Fox News.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation welcomed U.S. Army Specialist Brent Menard into a new mortgage-free smart home in Florida. Now, while on a road clearance mission in Afghanistan, Brent's vehicle was blown up by an improvised explosive device. Brent became a T4 paraplegic. Tunnel to Towers built him a specially adapted smart home that allows severely injured heroes like Brett to live more independently. We hope you'll donate $11 a month so this great work can continue. Just go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on SingleCare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to SingleCare.com or download the free app today.
Court-appointed special advocates, or CASA, are specially trained volunteers that help secure safe homes for abused and neglected children. Don't let these innocent victims slip through the cracks of our complicated legal system. Get involved today. Call CASA at 268-5111. This nonprofit organization moment brought to you by News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
What's one of your favorite memories?
Let's see. Well, there was this one time I went snorkeling in the Caribbean when I was a kid. It really just blew my mind. I mean, when you're sitting on the beach, it's so peaceful and you sort of forget there's a whole other world under there just full of all kinds of life. We saw the most beautiful corals. I remember thinking they were waving at us as they moved with the ocean. And then there were all these amazing fish. They kind of reminded me of tropical birds. They were so bright and colorful, just darting all over the place like birds in the sky. I'll never forget it. It completely changed the way I look at the ocean.
Most of us have a memory of being in nature we'll never forget. Let's protect the world's natural places so more memories can be made for generations to come. Visit worldwildlife.org.
Every day at 5 p.m. right here on News Talk 96.5 KPEL, it's me, Joe Cunningham, with The Joe Cunningham Show, offering you news, analysis, and commentary you're not going to get anywhere else. The big news stories of the day, and even some of the headlines you may not be aware of. It's your local, state, and national news coverage from a local perspective right here. Every day, News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Check us out, The Joe Cunningham Show, every day at 5 p.m.
The views expressed in the following show are those of the hosts or hosts only. They do not represent News Talk 96.5 KPEL or Town Square Media.
Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. It's always a pleasure to be with you. It's awesome day. 844-766-6607 is the number. It's the Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. Don't forget, we are giving away cane replicas. I'm telling you, when you get them, you're going to go, wow, that dude on that radio, man, he ain't lying to us. These puppies are good. Well, puppies, pecans, whatever. So there's a lot of stuff out there that we're going to try to cover today, in some national, some statewide. It's good to, I tell you what, the Edwards win, man, put some Republicans in their place, but people go vote for them again. They ought to vote and beat people like the ones that got to win against Sid like that. But they sucking up now, though, aren't they? They're sucking them now. I can see them. Well, Ted was a friend of ours in the legislature. If I was Sid, of course, Sid ain't the political guy, so. Sid would probably say, well, it's okay, it's good. Everybody pick a dog, I got no problem. Instead of saying, hey, thank you. Do me a favor, lose my number. But that would be me. So I wouldn't do what I'd do. Anyway, so James Carville again. Folks, when are they going to take the mic? I guess when James Carville passes away. I may pass away before him. I guess they'll take the microphone out of his mouth. I mean, he just won't stop. They interviewed, went on a podcast. He said he knows that he F-bombed up. James Carville calls Biden most tragic figure in U.S. politics. Okay? Not because he controversial pardon to Biden, but because Carville thinks Biden delayed exit from the race. So he said, watch this. This is why you know Carville ain't got it no more, folks. He really needs to shut up. He said, this is what he said in the video, Politicon. Joe Biden wasn't crooked. Joe Biden wasn't crooked. James Carville. Joe Biden didn't pursue bad policies. Green New Deal. Open the damn border and let people just come across here and live in here. The murders, the rapes, the fentanyl, the deaths. This is Carville. You think Carville's become woke, but his brain cells aren't working, folks. Something wrong with this guy. Biden wasn't crooked. Biden didn't pursue bad policies. He's the most tolerant, loving, caring, non-prejudiced person. What he said and did about blacks is ridiculous. Even Kamala Harris, when she was running against him 4 years before, called him a racist. Yeah. Most tolerant, loving, caring, non-prejudiced person you could imagine. He was one of the most prejudiced people. Gee whiz. Carver said that in September of 2023, if he wasn't going to run, GD, we would have won this election. And it wouldn't have been that close because we have so many talented freaking people that were running. Can you name one on the Democrat side that's talented? You had Kamala Harris. You could have went to Newsom. How about Paula Pelosi Davis or Schumer? Who's the talented person in the bench on the Democrat side? I'm just kind of curious minds. What's so sad it didn't have to be this way? You don't want to endorse this nut. The strategist, James Carville, predicted a clear-cut win for Harris, but admitted after the loss that lack of Democratic primaries left the party without the option. He didn't call for that. He didn't call for that, folks. Carville reiterated Thursday he deeply respects Biden would made the election outcome all more devastating. Respecting for what? That man, with the help of Barack Obama and Harris, was devastating this country. Devastating America. Carville can't see it because he's blinded by ignorance. Most tragic. Oh, my God. He said, now listen to this. I want y'all to listen to another one of Carville's great predictions. You ready? This is him now. This ain't me. This is one of his great predictions. His great prediction is, in 6 years, before somebody comes back and talks about all the stunning things Biden accomplished, in 6 years, people are going to be bragging about what Joe Biden did. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm not going to disagree with it. If you're a communist, a Marxist, or socialist, if you hate America, you might come back bragging what Biden's done to this country in 6 years. I agree with that. You'll come back bragging about what he did to this country. If you don't think people didn't vote against Biden's policies and what they did to this country, Carville will never see the light. They didn't get beat. They got drove. Trump drove them into the ground. But why you want to put a microphone behind the mouth of James Carville? I will never understand anybody wanting to put a microphone in front of Carville. At least if he does radio, you can't see the hat, the LSU hat on. That'd be about the only thing that I'll give him. If you see that, that'd be about it. It'd be about the only thing that you can give him. If they don't you won't be able to see the LSU hat, because I sure wish he'd quit wearing the Tiger hat. It would sure be nice if he did. Anyway, that's Carville. Once again, they keep putting that microphone in front of them. I do have some more Psycho Bill news. There was also an article. I want y'all to think about Stephanie disgraced out of the Devil's Advocate. Okay, and she is disgraced. They keep calling for Garrett Graves to get a job in the Trump administration. Now, I got to tell you, if they go ask the congressman from this state about Graves, he won't be getting a job in the Trump administration. He was not a Donald Trump guy anyway. All of a sudden, Stephanie Graves, Donald Trump should find a place for Garrett Graves in administration. You think Donald Trump's going to listen to Stephanie Graves? I'm talking about a leftist Looney Tune. You think they're going to listen to her? And if they go ask the congressman, Mike Johnson and all them, they're not going to bail out Garrett Graves to put him in the Trump administration. I don't see that. Maybe he will. You know? Even Stephanie Graves said picking Graves to head FEMA, a job which he reportedly under consideration, would be something of a radical change. I don't think he picks him. If he picks him, I won't be almost in shock if he picks Garrett Graves, because Graves has had problem with his current congressman. He knifed Scalise. He knifed Mike Johnson. Julia Letlow. He knifed Higgins in the redistricting. Folks, you can get mad at me for saying that about Graves because you like Graves. And I wish Graves was going to be a congressman 2 more years because we wouldn't have Cleo Fields. So don't get mad at me about that. But what he's done to these people, and he was a never Trumper. Why would Trump put him in administration? But see, politics do strange things. What was the name? Scott, name throws me away. The dipstick. Scott Angel. Scott Angel ended up in the Trump administration making all kind of money. Because, I mean, it was Trump's first term. Angel fell up after he got slaughtered in the governor's race and slaughtered even worse in the congressional race. He fell up looking for one of them government jobs. Graves don't know anything outside government. I don't know what else he's going to go do. Okay? I'm sure somebody going to pick up Graves. Chamber of Commerce, somebody. I just wouldn't put him ahead of FEMA. Y'all can get mad all you want to. I wouldn't. I think Trump needs loyal people. And if he talks to Steve Scalise and Mike Johnson and Clay Higgins and Julia Letlow, I don't think you're going to find a lot of loyalty. They're going to feel like he has the loyalty that Trump needs in any position. And by the way, I don't say that in an ugly way. I don't say it at all. I say it because it's a fact. You go ask them. You go ask them. You don't have to ask me. They got very, very upset with him. Higgins, because he took a part of his district away. That was really good for Higgins. You know, he was thinking the courts were going to throw this thing out, where the courts let Cleo Fields keep the dang district, which was really pretty sick. But that's on Republicans, and I'm not going there. Some people wanted Graves out. I would never want Graves out for Cleo Fields. Never. That's just me talking. I wouldn't. But I'm gonna be shocked if he gets a big position. He may go into Trump's administration, but I just don't see him going into the Trump administration as running something like FEMA. Maybe he will, but man, taking the advice of Stephanie Grace, who done read every negative article you could write about Donald Trump, Jeff Landry, John Kennedy, and any other Republican. Not Cassidy, not Graves, but that's the same group of people right there. They praise the ones that hate Trump and hate Landry and hate Kennedy and gets on the conservatives. That's what's so funny about reading the article, Stephanie Grace. Donald Trump should find a place for Garrett Graves in his administration. I don't know about that. My question is this. If Mike Johnson, Julia Letlow, Steve Scalise, Clay Higgins tell Donald Trump that he can be trusted, then that's fine. But I think those four people ought to at least get to talk to Trump to see if he can be trusted. And if they say he can be trusted, I'm all in. Graves can have whatever position he wants. I don't think they're going to give him kudos to get that position. I just don't. All right, got to take a break. 844-766-6607, Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Take a break. Be right back. Been bragging about Dino Hardwoods for a long time. A good friend, Charles Altman. They do an excellent job. And if you're looking for unique or hard-to-find hardwood lumber, plywood, and molding, it's Dino Hardwoods. That's where you need to go. DinoHardwoods.com, DinoHardwoods.com. Trust Dino Hardwoods for all your hardwood lumber and cypress needs. With the holiday season fast approaching, as you know, a timeless handmade gift using quality lumber by Dino just means more. With 3 great locations to serve you now, Broussard, Louisiana, Shreveport, Louisiana, and now he's expanded in Tyler, Texas. Folks, there's something for every discerning woodworker at Dino. Go to DinoHardwoods.com, DinoHardwoods.com, and check out the unique and hard-to-find hardwood, lumber, plywood, and molding that you can't just find anywhere. Charles Altman, trust me, is not a better man in the business. He knows what he's doing, and he wants to service you. DinoHardwoods.com, DinoHardwoods.com.
As Louisiana's only fiberglass manufacturer and fabricator, C-Safe Fiberglass Grading and Structural Systems has provided corrosion-resistant products to the Gulf Coast for over 45 years. Our fiberglass grading, cable trays, and structural shapes are ideal to replace corroded, rotting building products and can be custom fabricated by the best fiberglass craftsmen in the world, right here in Lafayette. Contact C-Safe or visit our website at csafe.com. That's S-E-A like the ocean, S-A-F-E.com.
This is Moon Griffon. The sun has never raised its rates, but your local energy company sure has. Solar Louisiana can install residential home solar systems with huge battery storage, or they can add batteries to your existing system. If there's an outage, you are sitting pretty with all the electricity you need. Imagine an electric bill so low, you can pay it with pocket change you find in your couch. Solar Louisiana has the experience you need to make the right decision. Online at solarlouisiana.net. Your energy independence company, Solar Louisiana.
Do you crave
Atlas Foundation Repair, 800-256-1010. Louisiana-owned Atlas Foundation Repair, 800-256-1010. Call Tony Arpino. I have known him for years. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show on a beautiful Monday. Appreciate you joining us. 844-766-6607. Matthew James Business Tax Reduction Hotline. Let me move on. So every day you're going to get inundated, especially from the Devil's Advocate, on stories on Bill Cassidy, Psycho Bill, running for Senate. Mark Ballard, who now writes, he's a staff writer, but he writes the national stuff. Now, Ballard used to do state and local, and he does national stuff for the Advocate. He wrote an article in the Devil's Advocate. Louisiana's Bill Cassidy faces a very early challenge for his U.S. Senate seat. And so I wanted to get to this real quick. Hold on, Walker. I pulled something off a plug. Walker, I don't want all these Christmas lights to blind you. That's why I'm working on this. I hope that's okay with you. So and I may take a couple segments on this because I just think it's important to remember that they're going to continue writing articles only because the goal would be to get Bill Cassidy back in, and I'm telling y'all he's toast. But it's amazing how they demonize people in articles as well. And I'll give you an example. First of all, they went to Roy Fletcher. I know Roy very well. Roy's been on this program. He's been around politics. He's got a good pulse on what's going on. They talked about Cassidy's jumping out, Fleming. John Fleming jumped in the race. I was jumping out early, and Fletcher said, I don't find it early. Chose to announce now to get that one out the way before the holidays. So whatever the implications are in terms of political calculations of other people, that's up to them. There's no point in gossiping about me. He wanted to make clear. So there's nothing wrong with it. And by the way, other people will get it, when and where and how, and I don't know that. So they talk about Cassidy and how Cassidy impeached Trump. It's more than that. It's what he said. Why in the hell they interviewed Pearson Cross? You just sooner interviewed anybody off the street before you go to Pearson Cross. He don't ever get it right. Fleming probably judges that Cassidy may not be as strong among strictly Republican voters. Boy, Pearson, you came up with that all by yourself? Wow, Pearson Cross thinking out the box right there with old Pearson, huh? With that in mind, having a closed primary, this will be a real test for Trumpification of Louisiana politics, statewide scale. The people go and vote, early voters. They mentioned Fleming, Higgins, Scametta, and, of course, Garrett Graves. Listen, if Garrett Graves doesn't take a position soon, every position that comes open, Garrett Graves is going to be mentioned. Every position. And I don't know Garrett. Garrett may want to run again. Garrett may never want to run again. He didn't get beat. So then he talks about Cassidy and the $1 trillion nationwide. He called it for improving roads and other infrastructure. Now what it is, a Green New Deal. Even Biden admitted that whole thing was about greening our country. Stupidity stuff like carbon capture. I was in Monroe and back yesterday. When I look at those stupidity solar farms going up as you get into Ouachita Parish tomorrow, I just cringe. I hope a nice tornado or a big old ice storm rips them all apart myself. That would be the best thing can happen. By the way, Trump said today that he will pardon the J6 people, which is great. More on that later. Anyway, so let me show you a paragraph that he puts in here, which is absolutely stupid. You ready? You got to remember, we are not sending a United States senator from the Democrat Party to go vote against Trump. Y'all do know that. We're not there. We're not there at all. It doesn't matter who the Republican candidate. It could be Graves. It could be Cassidy running against the Democrat. They're going to win and go back to Washington. We're not sending a Democrat. It ain't happening. No time soon. But in the article, I told you they like to take a shot at somebody. This time they're taking a shot at Clay Higgins. Ballard said it provides an opening for a GOP challenger. Some Republicans fear that Higgins, known as an incendiary rhetoric and popular among working-class voters in Acadiana, will end up in a general election with a strong Democrat, according to several observers. Folks, listen to me. There's no strong Democrats in the state of Louisiana, and Bill Edwards, old bellboy, had done enough damage. I want him to come back and run as a Democrat. He will get blown out. Trust me on this one. But it said, yeah, if Republicans attack each other, it's a new ball. But we're not sending a Democrat to go against Trump from Louisiana the next 4 years. It ain't happening. So when Ballard says, I talked to some Republicans that fear if Higgins gets in there, a strong Democrat might beat him. Name the Democrat. There is none. And there ain't no Democrat going to beat Higgins. There's no Democrat going to beat Psycho Bill Cassidy. No Democrat's going to beat Garrett Graves. No Democrat's going to beat Fleming. No Democrat couldn't beat me. But this is what Ballard about. Good Democrat can be. And then they go back to Roy Moore and Doug Jones in Alabama. There's nothing like that going on here. Nothing. So the Republican lobbyist said, we think Fleming, Graves, and Scamatica could win in the general, but nominate Higgins and y'all have problems. That's not true. That's not a Republican lobbyist. By the way, in the article, why don't they name the Republican lobbyist? Name the son of a boop. Name him. Who's the Republican lobbyist saying this? I guarantee you it's a middle roader. Some middle roader saying this. Any Republican's going to beat any Democrat in this state for United States Senate. Any. We'll be right back. Nestled in gently rolling hills in North Louisiana is a place that produces the finest Louisiana wines around, Landry Vineyards. This place is phenomenal. Not only are they passionate about growing wine grapes and making Landry Vineyards wine, they also have cottages and RV sites you can rent, tours, and live music on Saturdays and tastings Monday through Saturday. Available in over 650 stores throughout Louisiana, I encourage you to visit and try Landry wine direct from Landry Vineyards. This is another great Louisiana company that has my full support, and they're Louisiana certified. A red blend they labeled Bayoutage, Blackberry Merlot, Cabs, Rosé, Petite Syrah, dry and sweet whites, and many, many other wines. Learn more about their wines and their vineyard online at LandryVineyards.com. This is Moon Griffon. My lovely bride and I love the wines from this great Louisiana company, Landry Vineyards, and so will you. Go visit their beautiful winery and find them in your local grocery store. If they don't have Landry Vineyards wine, ask and ask again. LandryVineyards.com. Woo, good wine right here.
If you are a loved one or suffering from addiction, listen to Springfield Wellness Center's founder, Paula Norris Metayer.
We help people through their detox with minimal withdrawal symptoms. Even though it's a 10-day treatment, I look at the first 4 or 5 days as the brain restoration piece. And when the brain restoration piece turns on, that's when we have patients go, wow, a light bulb turned on or a switch was turned on. All of a sudden, their prefrontal cortex is working. And their midbrain is also working. They're not craving. They're thinking clearly. They see things clearly. And they have more confidence.
Put your addiction behind you. Call Springfield Wellness Center, 225-755-9566.
Just call us. That's all. And we'll be waiting for you.
225-755-9566. 755-9566. Springfield Wellness Center. SpringfieldWellnessCenter.com.
This place has a pulse.
You hear it in the canopy, feel it in the ground. Life, fully illuminated, engulfs you. From the birds singing in the treetops above to the tiniest insects in the soil below. You take a deep, cleansing breath, filling your lungs with the essence of the forest. Now, imagine it's all gone. Healthy, life-giving forests reduced to nothing. No singing birds, no lush canopy, and water and food in short supply around the world. Time is running out to protect our forests, and without our love, they can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our forests. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
I love this song! I love nachos.
Loving everything? You might be buzzed.
You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This hour brought to you by the Matthew James Tax Pros. Find them online at MatthewJamesTaxPros.com.
Hi, hello, welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. It is a great honor to be with you today. 844-766-6607, Matthew James Business Tax Reduction. You know, this thing with the Senate that they're making a big deal out of. I don't know who's getting in the race. You get names. Who knows? I just want people to feel assured about one thing. Cassidy's going to get beat. It doesn't matter what I think or you think. None of that matters. You got a closed primary. It's going to be in a Republican primary, and it's 50% plus one. So in the first round, let's say Cassidy got in a runoff since Fleming's done now, Scott Fleming. He's toast at that point. 100% toast. It's great that they got a runoff in the primary. It's awesome they got a runoff in the primary. It really is. It's an awesome thing to see. I just know this. Everywhere I go, they're gearing up to vote against Cassidy. Don't look at the money. Don't look at the news articles. They even got in this article who's supporting him. I'll get to this in a minute. But they talk about Scametta, Higgins, Graves. Of course, like I said, with Graves, the mayor of Baton Rouge, Graves' name came up. Public Service Commissioner, Graves' name came up. United States Senate, Graves' names is coming up. That's going to keep coming up over and over again. Talk about Cassidy's money, which I tell you it ain't a big deal in closed primary. Then it talks about Cassidy's donor list, Boise Bollinger, Eddie Risponi, Roy O. Morton, Saints retired quarterback Drew Brees gave him money, and U.S. Senator David Vitter. Cassidy will rely on National Republican Senate Committee, which helps incumbent GOP folks. I'm telling you, don't even worry about that. It's a closed primary. People made up their mind. I'm just telling you. They bring up David Vitter and what happened. None of that's going to happen like that. It can't. I want Bell Edwards in the race. I want Bell Boy to come show us how popular he is. They got people that voted Bell Edwards would love to vote against him. You know? And it ain't just about Trump. And I played tape last week. It's about what he said. Everything he said was smashing Trump because he didn't think Trump would win again. So just be cool. Okay? What's coming? It's just got to be patient. People say, well, he's raising all that money and look who's supporting him. I don't care. In a Republican primary, it's different. The conservatives vote in a Republican primary. The Trump people are going to vote in a Republican primary. It's going to be mega conservative, man, MAGA conservative. And I'm telling you, that's going to make a big, big, big difference in what's going on. And so don't freak out when you read the stories because the media is going to keep. You got to remember, the devil's advocate and a lot of this media, all they trying to do is they want to get you thinking one way. If you don't believe me, you should have watched ESPN and the sports stations on SMU. And they can't ball out. And it's all you heard. Same thing with Cassidy. Cassidy got the money. Cassidy got these big shots supporting him, you know. And why would the media brag about David Vitter supporting him? Look what they did to Vitter. Why would they brag that the Vitter support now? You know? Why would they do that? I'm just saying. Why would they brag about him now? But all of a sudden, what they're doing, they're bragging about him now. They're bragging about Vitter. Oh, I like Vitter. It's just saying. It just don't make any sense. But anyway, they're going to send you everything under the sun to make you believe, oh, it's no way so-and-so got money. And by the way, the devil's advocate and the media going to do their job, too, to beat up any candidate they think's a threat to Psycho Bill. Because they love Psycho Bill. They do. The media loves him. Say it again. You got to get through a Republican primary. Easier said than done. Easier said than done. Way easier said than done. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I don't want my life to go by that fast. As we get older, you want it to slow down. It never does. It just never does. But you want it to slow down. I'm not wishing 2026 here. Cassidy also is going to head up. Since Cassidy's been there a while, they're going to put him ahead of a committee. I don't matter either. Liz Cheney was ahead of committees, too. I use Liz Cheney. She's a great poster child for what happens when you get out of line with your voters. You won by 40, and the next time you lose by 40. And that's what's coming. And I don't care what the media says. I don't care what they tell you about the race and who's going to do this and who's going to do that. I've just got to trust me on this one. It's just no way. Oh, you said that about? I know somebody's going to tell me, you said it about one-time term Bel Air was. I did not think Republicans could beat themselves up again. I thought that was 100% impossible. And then here we go. Rasponi beat the hell out of Ralph Abraham. And not only did Rasponi not win, he took Abraham out. They did exactly what they did in the Vitter race. 100%. 100% the same thing. 100% the same thing. I just didn't think that. I didn't think, between you and me, I didn't think Republicans could do that. I didn't. I thought there was no way they could do that again. And they did it. You realize Bel Edwards, that's why I want Bell to run. You realize Bel Edwards backed in twice. He didn't win either election. Yeah, he won and officially he won, but he literally backed in twice. You think Bel Edwards can back in a United States Senate race? Folks, the Senate race is way different than some little, a little governor's race. Way different. Just totally different. Okay, it's going to have all that money. All the money you want. Ain't going to make no difference, folks. So I feel quite confident about this. And by the way, I get to vote. Griffon, a no-party guy. I get to vote in this race. I get to vote in the primary. But I already told y'all, if I got to go be a Republican to vote, I'll be a Republican to vote. I heard somebody saying they're going to try to change that. They're going to try to change it where you got to be a Republican. I ain't got a problem with that. I don't care that they left no party vote, okay? I don't care if they let no party vote. I'll go be a Republican for the time being. You know? I'll be glad to go do it. I just think it's one of the most important elections we're going to have is in 2026. One of the most important things that we have. One of the elections in 2026. And it's closer than we think. By the way, Daniel Penny found not guilty in chokehold death of Jordan Neely. Jury acquitted Penny of criminally negligent homicide after previously deadlocking on the more serious charge of manslaughter. Penny found not guilty for people that are following that, and there are a lot of people that are following that. By the way, Lara Trump to step down as RNC chair. The word is, Scott, was it Rubio? Rubio is going to take a Secretary of State job with Trump. And that Lara Trump may be appointed senator to the United States for Florida. So if Trump will have a family member as a United States senator in the Senate. Wow. It's big. A lot of things happening. Take a break. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Louisiana locations, I always make it a point to visit Superior Grill when I'm traveling in the great state of Louisiana. I love the food there. It's authentic Mexican food with a Louisiana twist. Their menu has all your favorites: nachos, quesadillas, enchiladas, tacos, fajitas, hand-cut steaks, and the best margaritas in the state. You can go to Superior for lunch or dinner, and folks, you're going to thank me for it. My lovely bride and I eat at Superior Grill every chance we get. They're on Line Avenue in Shreveport, Government Street and Highland Road in Baton Rouge, St. Charles Avenue in New Orleans, and on College Saloon in Lafayette. I'm talking great food, great service, and great margaritas. The best Mexican food with the Louisiana twist is found at Superior Grill, Shreveport on Line Avenue, Baton Rouge on Government Street and Highland Road, New Orleans on St. Charles Avenue, and College Saloon in Lafayette. This is Moon Griffon. I'll see you at Superior Grill. This is Moon Griffon. My good buddy Jeff and the folks at Hudco Roofing and Exteriors is Louisiana's premier professional roofing contractor, specializing in residential roofing services. Remember, your roof protects everything, you and your family, and most of your possessions. And that's where Hudco Roofing comes in. These folks aren't just your average roofers. They're the #1 roofing company in the state. Whether you need a repair or brand new roof, Hudco Roofing has you covered. Hudco is a CertainTeed Select Shingle Master and takes every roof all the way down to the decking to make sure there are no hidden damages. Hudco Roofing is also a state-certified installer of the Fortified Roofing System, and that's a big deal. Anywhere in Louisiana, you can get a free roof inspection and quote from Hudco Roofing. Go to HudcoRoofing.com for quality workmanship, premium products, and unparalleled customer service. This is Moon Griffon. I trust Hudco Roofing of Louisiana, and so should you. HudcoRoofing.com. That's HudcoRoofing.com.
Craig Morrell and the...
Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. The Department of Education is putting out, Louisiana Education ranks 4th nationally in a new study. Louisiana Education ranks near the top of another national study. A new report places Louisiana Education 4th overall nationally when revisiting the 2022 National Assessment of Education Progress report card. 2022 test was the first time a national assessment was taken of students since 2019. Be interesting. I have to get Kate on here, kind of talk about that, see what they're really talking about, what it's based on. Let's see. 28% of all registered voters in Louisiana are neither Democrat or Republican now. Funniest part is there are 2,793 registered voters in Louisiana that don't know what their agenda is. I could help them out if they want me to. I'm just saying I could. I would like not to be in that business, but so less than 3,000 people don't know what gender they are. That's probably the easiest thing to fix. That probably should be the easiest thing to fix. All righty. So, Trump, I will start pardoning January 6th rioters my first day in office. You know, one of the things that I saw up there, I kept wondering why would they want to pardon Liz Cheney? But Liz Cheney was all part of that stupid committee on January 6th. That's why they're talking about pardoning her. Folks, can you imagine pardoning people before they've been convicted? This is the new Democrat Party way of doing things. When I'm walking out, I just pardon everybody in the world. You know, don't forget, Trump can do that too as he walks out the door in 4 years. If they don't take him out before then. He can go pardon a bunch of people too. Don't make any sense to pardon Dr. Fauci. Nobody wants to know what really happened with COVID. You start pardoning Fauci, Adam Schiff, another one, misinformation guy, and the stuff they were able to get away with. The last one Trump ought to go after is Barack Obama. Let him go. As evil as he is, but not according to James Parton. He's a great guy. January 6th, and I've been reading this for a while now. Trump also, we have to end birthright citizenship. Okay? On NBC's Meet the Press, he said this, and he's right. Because you cross the line, your kid gets to be a citizen. A lot of people do that. They're a citizen now. They're entitled to everything everybody else gets. The free country shouldn't do that. I mean, just a free country shouldn't do that. But yet, that's what our country's doing. Once again, Trump's right on all this stuff. Here's the problem, or here's the question. Are Republicans going to get in line and do what's right for the United States of America? I really believe that's probably one of the most important questions we got to ask. Are the American people going to step up and do the right thing? Not the American people, the Republican Party that are elected, are they going to step up and do the right thing? The first thing they can do, in my opinion, the first thing they can do is give Trump his nominees for these positions. That ought to be the first thing they do. If they're not willing to do that, folks, how are you going to trust them up the road? You know, how are you going to trust him up the road? So if they're not going to give him his cabinet that he needs, Hexbeth included. By the way, I saw the odds. Somebody sent me the odds. Hexbeth is about, he's right now under 50% that he'll get it. The Gabbard lady, Tulsi Gabbard, she's 50-50 that she will get her position. I didn't see no numbers on on Kennedy. I didn't see that, RFK, whatever you call it. I didn't see any percentage on that, but that's the percentage they're allocating right now. And they bet on everything. And how about the Pope again? Pope Francis proclaims special jubilee for LGBTQ community. I've never seen an anti-Christ Pope like this one. Pope Francis proclaimed a special jubilee pilgrimage for gays and all LGBTQ. Italian media announced this weekend. September 5th, Catholic members of LGBTQIG+ community will be hosted by the Jesuit Church in Central Rome. And so, once again, this Pope, Catholics got to deal with this. I don't. I just don't understand how everything he does goes against the Word of God. Almost everything he does, the Green New Deal, everything goes totally against the teachings of the Bible and Christ himself. And yet he's supposed to be Pope. He's supposed to be, I'm going to call him Pope Francis. He goes against the teachings of the church in a lot of areas. The teaching of the Bible, the teaching of Christ. He goes against it all the time. And I'm trying to figure out, man, how people stay. I know there's a lot of dedicated people that do a good job, but man, this Pope, every time I see this, I want to pull my hair out. You know, it ain't my job to go fussing at the Pope. I know, but man, it's just the things that he comes up with that anti-Bible, anti-Jesus, and it happens all the time. You got an atheist to teach him about global warming. His right-hand person is that. What is an atheist working side by side with the Pope for? Unless he was listening to the atheist and doing the opposite. But yet the Pope, he just steps in it every single day. I talked a lot. I got a lot of Catholic friends. I grew up born and raised Catholic. My family members and friends, a lot of Catholic. And by the way, when they talk to you privately on the side, they get very frustrated by the Pope. They also know he came from a socialist Marxist background. And he don't know any better. But he knows what the Word of God said, right? Apparently not. I don't know what he's reading. Maybe they shifted the words in the Bible when he gets up and does his daily Bible study. I don't know. Man, this Pope, God have mercy. It's so anti-Christ movement. It just is. I don't know what to tell somebody. It's very frustrating. All righty. I got a winner. Okay, Walker, you messed me up. Here it is. Let me go back to the computer. Okay. Sandy Andrapoint. Sandy Andrapoint. I don't know if that's Breaux Bridge, Louisiana, or Baton Rouge, Louisiana. By the way, I might have to pick another winner. BR, Louisiana. I know what Baton Rouge is, but a lot of people use BR for Breaux Bridge. I'm going to say it's Baton Rouge, Louisiana. All right. He said it to me all the time. So I'm going to say Baton Rouge. Anyway, Sandy's the winner. Good luck. God bless. We'll pick some more the rest of the week. Looking at me funny. People use BR Breaux Bridge all the time over here. Breaux Bridge. They put BR. Okay. All right. I ain't going to tell you who does that, but they offer you. All right. Anyway, Baton Rouge. I'm going to take it as Baton Rouge. All right. We got to take a break. We'll be back. Moon Griffon Show got 2 great guests lined up in the third hour. You can check us out, moongriffon.com. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. We'll be right back.
For the absolute best in local Cajun food, check out Prejean's in their 2 locations in Carencro and Broussard today.